Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this channel. To anyone who's new, very warm welcome. If you'd like to know more information, please check out the link below. And welcome back to my regular viewers. So here's a very interesting topic. Bruno Groening said, only one who has completely detached themselves from earthly things can follow God. It's almost an exact I don't have the book in front of me, but that's almost an exact quote. Wow, that's intense. So first of all, I was shocked to read this. I was surprised, not shocked, because I'd never heard anything like that talked about Bruno Groening. But detaching oneself from earthly things, that's a very common theme in many, many wisdom traditions around the world. And here Bruno lays it on the line. In essence, you can be attached to God or you can be attached to earthly things. Or that's what it sounds like he's saying. But is he? In an ultimate sense, yes. However, what's the process? So I would say that we're all in the process of detaching from earthly things and attaching only to God. And, Bruno being the Olympic athlete, the gold medalist who lived that life, who showed us what it's like to be only attached to God. And so that's Bruno or Christ. But what about you and me? Like, how does that relate to us? Because I certainly have attachment to earthly things. Does that mean I'm completely not following God? Not in my experience, no. I get lots of guidance every day, and I feel connection to God every day. So it's not an either or. But what I believe Bruno is saying is that ultimately you can't do both. And the goal is just to follow God, just to be attached to the divine. So how to do that? Well, that's going to be a little bit of an individual journey for each person. Each of us has our own spiritual or religious beliefs, and pretty much any religious or spiritual path that has the goal of freedom or liberation or salvation is going to talk about being detached from worldly things. That doesn't mean you have to become a monk or nun. And it means, at least to me, part of what it means is only putting full value in God, recognizing that God is the only really source of happiness, the only real source of safety, right? Like, I adore my friends. I adore the house I live in. And houses and friends come and go. Friends might be busy on the day I'm in need. Houses have problems. We don't live in a house forever. Like, these things are temporary. That's not to say we can't enjoy them, make use of them, value them, but this idea of detaching doesn't mean renunciation. Bruno didn't live like a monk. He lived a very saintly life. He was married. He actually had children. So one very simple tool to make progress on this path is to ask, how important is it? Because we as human beings, well, I know and I think human beings in general, it's very easy for us to get wrapped up in something that isn't actually important. For example, I had this idea for a small project, and I've reached out to someone to talk about it. They said they'd get back. let's see, there've been a couple texts going on, and I haven't heard back. So a part of me is like, oh, why haven't I heard back? What's going on? Oh my gosh, it's not going to happen. Da, 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 da. But when I ask myself, how important is it? Then I can just let go a little bit and recognize that it's just a little project. Like, yeah, I have some excitement for it, but if I detach, I can just kind of surrender to God. And maybe if I haven't heard back in a week or so, I can reach out again. But if I'm attached, then my attention and my energy is not directed to God. So it's one thing to have an inspiration like, hey, I want to do this project. Turn it over to God, take the action step. Well, first check in. Hey, God, is this a good idea? Then take the action step and then just surrender it. So it's not about not doing anything. It's about how we do things and keeping our focus on the divine. So let's spend a little time in silence. Taking in the divine energy. Thank you all so much for taking time to watch this. I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful day. And once again, to anyone who's new, a warm, warm welcome. And if you're new, this is maybe a little bit of an advanced topic, but I hope it was still helpful for you. Take care. Big love.